Welcome to Kansas Ag Report with your host, Brian Hallman.
Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Brian Hallman, and here's our lineup for today's show. In Ag News, we'll take a look at local and national headlines affecting Kansas farmers. In our Ag Feature, Ken talks with Ron DeWeese from High Plains Farm Credit and Jenny Bracken from Frontier Farm Credit. And inside Kansas Ag, Kansas Soybean talks to us about treated seed in the U.S. grain supply, and Farm Bureau talks to us about wheat marketing decisions. And in news you need to know, we get our weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association, look back at last week's market activity with the guys from Paragon, and we'll let you know about important events coming up around the state of Kansas. Glad you could join us.
Closed captioning brought to you by
The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. KansasSoybeans.org.
Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Kansas Weed Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for weeds. Online at kswheat.com. Kansas Livestock Association, supporting our members' business interests to meet consumers' demands. KLA.org.
Here's our national headlines for this week in Ag News. The United States top trade official took a hard negotiating stance Wednesday as NAFTA renegotiation talks got underway, saying major changes are needed to slash U.S. trade deficits. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer said NAFTA has failed many Americans, and despite its benefits to farmers and ranchers, needs major improvements. Meanwhile, leading U.S., Canada, and Mexican farm groups have issued a joint letter requesting that NAFTA renegotiations modernize the agreement rather than dismantle it. For the first time since 1992, U.S. pork has unfettered access to the Argentina market. Argentina was among several countries with non-science-based barriers to U.S. pork imports. Under the agreement, all fresh, chilled, and frozen pork and pork products from the U.S. are eligible for exports to the country. The announcement follows an August 15th meeting between Vice President Mike Pence and Argentina's president. The U.S. pork industry is the world leader in exports of pork and relies on exports for growth. As of Sunday, 76% of U.S. corn is at the dough making stage and 29% has dented, both behind their respective 5-year average. 62% of this year's crop is in good to excellent condition. 97% of soybeans are blooming and 87% are at the pod setting stage. 60% of U.S. beans are rated good to excellent, up 1% from last week. 58% of spring wheat is harvested compared to 51% on average, and 34% of the crop is called good to excellent. In the local news, during the first 2 weeks of September, growers of small grains around the country will be contacted by USDA's NASS. The agency is taking a comprehensive look into the 2017 production and supply of small grains, which include wheat, oats, barley, and rye. Survey results will be published in several reports, including the annual small grain summary and the quarterly grain stocks report. KDA's Office of Animal Health was notified in August by the Kansas State Veterinary Diagnostic Laboratory that a horse in Reno County had tested positive for West Nile virus. The horse was euthanized due to the severity of the illness. This is the first reported equine case of West Nile virus in Kansas in 2017. For more information about West Nile virus or other animal disease issues in Kansas, go to KDA's website at agriculture.ks.gov/animal health. Kansas Department of Health and Environment, in conjunction with the Kansas Department of Wildlife, Parks, and Tourism, has issued a public health warning for 6 lakes and a watch for another 6 lakes due to harmful algae blooms. If a lake is under public health warning for blue-green algae, activities such as boating and fishing may be safe. However, direct contact with the water is strongly discouraged for people, pets, and livestock. For more information on warnings on the warning, visit kdheks.gov/algae illnesses. Up next in our Ag Feature, Ken talks with Ron DeWeese from High Plains Farm Credit and Jenny Bracken from Frontier Farm Credit. You're watching Kansas Ag Report. Please stay tuned.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Livestock Association, supporting our members' business interests to meet consumers' demands. KLA.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. Grassandgrain.com. Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
This Medford, New Jersey school bus runs on biodiesel, and so do these. In fact, all of these buses run on clean-burning biodiesel, which is great because the more we use biodiesel in our heavy-duty vehicles, the less carbon pollution in our air. Think how great it would be if more of our school buses ran on biodiesel. More biodiesel, less carbon pollution. More is less. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
Let's spend a few moments now talking with Rob DeWeese with High Plains Farm Credit. And Rob, let's kind of get to your take on where things are with the farm economy, what you're seeing with your customers and what your customers are telling you.
Yeah, the farm economy has been a real challenge here over the last couple of years. Primarily commodity prices and variability in the cattle market has led to challenges with all of our producers.
One of the things that we always hear about is credit availability. Is there enough? Is there some tightening of that? Kind of what are you all doing there with farm credit?
Yeah, credit availability is still out there. I think it's up to each individual producer to look at their own operation and understand how much debt service they have and how much debt service they can afford to have during these type of economic conditions.
The challenges are out there. What are some of the things that lender or that those customers of yours need to make sure they're aware of in kind of what keeping those lines of communication open and some other things?
Yes, I think that one of the biggest things is keeping good communication with their lender, talking about the issues that they have going on, and making sure that everyone is aware of their own individual situation, because each producer has their own set of issues that they have to deal with.
So let's talk about the area that you represent, southern Kansas. What are conditions like? What have they been like this summer?
For the most part, they've been pretty good this summer. We've went through a stretch of dry weather, which has really affected the dryland corn probably the most. The dryland soybeans in our area have held on and have recently got some decent rainfall. The jury's still out on how that will turn out. The double crops have suffered with some dry weather in our area, and we'll have to have some pretty decent weather and later some good fall growing conditions for that to mature.
It looks like overall things look pretty good going into the fall.
Overall, yeah, we've had some recent moisture. Wheat crop in our area was good this summer. Grazing has been adequate all summer long, so yeah, it looks maybe better than it has in the last couple of years.
All right, Rob, thanks for the update. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Rob DeWeese with High Plains Farm Credit has joined us. We'll be back in just a moment. You're watching the Kansas Ag Report.
This segment brought to you by Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. Grassandgrain.com. Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
to the program. We're joined now by Jenny Bracken with Farm Credit. And Jenny, we've been here learning more about what's going on in the countryside, but let's learn a little bit more about what's going on with Farm Credit in Kansas.
Sure. Well, Farm Credit's a borrower-owned cooperative owned by farmers and ranchers in the state of Kansas and in other states as well. Within Kansas, we have an association called the Farm Credit Associations of Kansas that come together as an alliance to sponsor events and other organizations throughout the state that are involved in agriculture.
So let's talk about that. As Farm Credit, many folks maybe remember as the Federal Land Bank, and it continues to evolve. So talk maybe about that evolution and some of the things, I guess for lack of a better term, it's not your grandpa's Federal Land Bank anymore, is it?
That's right, it's not. We do go by Farm Credit. We again are a borrower-owned cooperative, and we support farmers, ranchers, and rural communities. So we provide financing for purchases of agricultural assets such as land, cattle, and equipment. And then we also provide leasing services as well as crop insurance services to manage risk. And
so as we talk about all those different things, it's almost a one-stop shop. You can get those yearly loans, those operating loans, but as well as a long-term real estate, which is, again, maybe what the base of the whole portfolio, correct?
That's exactly right. Yes, we can help provide the financing for inputs, so feed, seed, fuel, fertilizer, anything that's needed to put or plant the crop or raise cattle, grow cattle. And then, of course, the leasing and crop insurance as well. So you have the opportunity to come in and help manage your risk with the crop insurance products. You can finance land purchase and then, of course, stock that land with cattle, plant the crops, or any other inputs that are needed.
Now, what is one thing that folks may not know about Farm Credit and the Farm Credit system per se?
The Farm Credit system is reaching out to all generations in agriculture. We are very involved in youth and ag. We support a lot of youth and ag initiatives such as 4-H and FFA. And then we are also involved with multiple commodity organizations throughout the state as well. And so we want to support that producer, whether it's a farmer, a rancher, or an agricultural investor, and we want to help them succeed in their business.
All right, Jenny, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Jenny Bracken from Farm Credit in Kansas has joined us. You're watching the Kansas Ag Report.
Kansas Soybean Commission and American Soybean Association are reminding farmers to take special care to keep treated seeds from entering the U.S. grain and oilseed supply. Treated seeds and commodity shipments are a problem for multiple commodities that warrants the entire supply chain's attention and directly jeopardizes U.S. markets, both foreign and domestic. Maintaining our nation's stellar reputation for appropriately managing all pesticides is one key element of providing consumer satisfaction and maintaining acceptance of our exports. Few concerns can be as damaging to our status as a supplier of safe, high-quality agricultural products, such as the presence of seed compounds in commodities intended for food and feed use. Farmers with questions can review the Guide to Seed Treatment Stewardship, an industry-wide initiative to promote the safe handling and management of treated seed. Endorsed by ASA and other ag groups, the guide provides farmers and seed companies with critical information and up-to-date guidelines for managing treated seed effectively to minimize further risk of exposure to non-target organisms. For more information, visit seed-treatment-guide.com on the web.
With wheat harvest in full swing, it's a good time to focus again on marketing this year's crop. Fundamentals are mixed. World ending stocks for 2017-18 are forecast to increase by nearly 2%, but U.S. ending stocks are estimated to decrease by 237 million bushels. In Kansas, the NASS June wheat estimate pegged the crop at 304 million bushels, down 164 from last year, but the 600,000 acres of abandonment due to freezes, snowstorms, and crop disease will impact many farmers' bottom lines. Since bottoming in mid-May, both cash and futures prices have increased nearly 50 cents a bushel. Wheat basis, the difference between cash and futures, has improved since last year and is roughly equal to year-ago levels, but still weaker than average. Last year after harvest, basis in Kansas weakened roughly $1 more per bushel than average, making it difficult for many to even break even with their cost of production. Today things are a little better. The crop isn't as big. Grain handlers did a great job of storing, blending, and moving old crop wheat out, and the Chicago Board is implementing a variable storage rate beginning with the 2018 March futures contract that should help return basis levels to something closer to average by next spring. For wheat already in the elevator, near-term weather concerns may provide some price strength as spring wheat areas continue to be impacted by heat and drought, but increasing world ending stocks will likely weigh on the market and limit storage profits. If you have quality wheat, better than average protein, and can store on the farm, the odds of obtaining a solid return via a storage hedge and improving basis are pretty good, but you may have to hang on until February.
If you would like to advertise your business on Kansas Ag Report, give us a call, 785-580-3287.
This segment brought to you by Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. Grassandgrain.com. Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Premier Farm & Home has what you need to make your lawn the best in the neighborhood.
Hi, I'm Ken. We choose Premier Farm & Home for the professional look that we do ourselves.
Feel free to stop in. You can also visit our website at heycow.com.
I will take action against herbicide-resistant weeds. I will know my weeds, and I will stop them before they go to seed. I will do whatever it takes to give my crops the upper hand. And I will use multiple herbicide sites of action because every action counts. I will take action, this time for all time.
You need a partner that you can count on to be there for your business. Providing a depth of understanding to risk management issues so you don't have to. A knowledgeable support team located in your area, delivering products and services to make you more successful.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
This Medford, New Jersey school bus runs on biodiesel, and so do these. In fact, all of these buses run on clean-burning biodiesel, which is great because the more we use biodiesel in our heavy-duty vehicles, the less carbon pollution in our air. Think how great it would be if more of our school buses ran on biodiesel. More biodiesel, less carbon pollution. More is less. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
Of growing cover or forage crops for grazing have been demonstrated in high precipitation regions, but according to Kansas State University agronomist John Holman, there can be challenges to growing such crops in the semi-arid high plains, as yields depend greatly on available moisture. An ideal situation would include the ability to adjust stocking rates up or down as conditions allow, and having a native pasture or another site available to place cattle if need be, he told the more than 100 in attendance at the August 17th KLA Kansas State University Ranch Management Field Day at Black Diamond Ranch near Spearville. Holman and his wife Marcella Warner Holman own and operate the historic ranch, also known as Warner Angus Ranch. He explained that when trying to determine yield, warm season species like forage sorghum have the highest potential, followed by winter species and then spring species. Black Diamond uses triticale for supplemental grazing for their cow-calf operation and to provide a quality feed source during the late spring breeding season. He said triticale is a good option for putting weight on stocker cattle as well. When estimating the carrying capacity of forage crop in southwest Kansas, Holman recommends producers start on the conservative side and plan to use only 30% of the forage available unless it appears to be an excellent moisture year with above average yield potential.
Good morning, I'm Cody Wintersheet with Paragon Ag Advisors. Highly variable seems to be the statement of the day the last few weeks when it comes to the yield potential out there in regards to the fall crops. The recent Pro Farmer Tour also showed very similar prospects for this year's crops. Ultimately, the crop does look quite good as a whole, but there continues to be a lot of debate on just how good at this point. With the grain markets being under tremendous pressure as of late, it's very easy to succumb to all the doom and gloom talk out there. Remember that the markets are cyclical and there will be better days out there. When is obviously the biggest question. Doing nothing can at times be the right thing to do, and other times the worst. I'm not sure doing nothing at this stage is the right thing to do. What I mean by that is at some point you could start to feel like you're backed into a corner or even forced into making a decision for cash flow reasons. Even though these price levels are certainly less than desirable, you should still consider taking some sort of action. If you can store your crop on farm, start looking into ways to capture the carry in the market, which has been widening to attractive levels recently, and still keep your upside potential open. This will also allow you to hopefully take advantage of better basis opportunities post-harvest, which normally present themselves. For those with no on-farm storage, it's definitely a more difficult decision, but consider ways that keep you flexible on the futures price and lock the basis down as it typically gets worse as we approach harvest. Thank you and have a great day.
Closed captioning brought to you by
The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. KansasSoybeans.org.
Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Kansas Weed Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com. Kansas Livestock Association, supporting our members' business interests to meet consumers' demands. KLA.org.
Well, that's our show for today. I hope you'll join us each week for more news and information about agriculture in the state of Kansas. I'm Brian Holman, and thanks for watching.
I will take action against herbicide-resistant weeds. I will know my weeds, and I will stop them before they go to seed. I will do whatever it takes to give my crops the upper hand, and I will use multiple herbicide sites of action because every action counts. I will take action, this time for all time.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.